King of Iron Fist Tournament. Enter the Tekken.
Welcome everyone to yet another animation review. My name is Renegade Operative and I recently got finished watching Tekken Bloodline for the first time. I'm gonna lay down all the plot details and the synopsis and give you my overall thoughts as to what I liked, felt mixed about, and what I particularly disliked in this anime. So first and foremost, I have to put this basic synopsis out there. This is the origin story and the retelling of Tekken 3. The main character is Jin Kazama, and he's dealing with some bullying and some plights in his village, with his mother Jun Kazama trying to teach him the fundamentals of right and wrong. We see that this is the building block for tragedy because Heihachi begins like fiddling around in ancient ruins and places he doesn't belong. Therefore, a terrible evil is released, and that evil is known as an ancient green demon known as Ogre. Ogre then begins to attack previous fighters from previous King of Iron Fist tournaments, and he turns his sights on Jun Kazama. They have a dramatic battle, and thus Jin Kazama's mom is supposedly killed in this fiery onslaught. Then we have that final warning message from Jun saying that Jin needs to go to his grandfather to complete his training in order to prepare and kill Ogre, and that is the basic synopsis for the story. I thought it was pretty okay for what it was. There's some things that I liked. I enjoyed the training montage between Jin and his grandfather Heihachi. I thought that was well done. The hard-hitting philosophy of preparing this guy for the world was something that we never seen before in full detail, so it was finally being dragged to light in this anime, and I did enjoy the fact that Jin learned how to balance like anger and also peace at the same time as the anime developed. I like that he was ready and prepared when he broke the secondary pot that his great-grandfather Jinpachi Mishima also broke, and that was like a signifying saying, hey, I am ready for this, I am prepared, don't underestimate me. And that's just that peak storytelling from the progression of an origin story that you want to see. I also liked Jin's friends, and Paul and Ling Xiaoyu and Haorang. I thought they added a nice chemistry to the preceding events of Haorang and Jin being friends and having that rivalry. Jin saying, hey, I'll buy you beers after this, it's no problem, buddy, even after I defeat you. That's also cool that you get all the other characters aiding the main good guy and sort of adding in their 2 cents and being capable fighters in the process, like Tekken always portrays. Like, everyone has these crazy fighting styles that are simply unmatched within the world, and that's something that I readily appreciated. I also like the fighting scenes. I think anyone who watches this will love the fighting and the 10-hit combos that come out and the moves that you can spot that is going on in Tekken lore. I do find it a little bit ridiculous though that someone like King can grab Jin's arm, break it, and then he's fine in the next scene. But overall, it's just suspending my disbelief, it's letting that go. I really just liked how all the fight scenes connected and felt like energetic and felt intense in the process. And that's what you're going to be wanting to watch Tekken for, and they fully realize that in this anime with the animations and the hard hits and the uppercuts and the blows that occur when someone is really messed up in this anime. The things I felt mixed on is this is a show not for casual viewers at all. It requires a knowledge of Tekken, understanding, because there are some character backstories that they don't really go into further detail about. Now, granted, I think this is fine because every adaptation should be like very, very mainstream as much as possible while making the story make sense. Another thing I feel mixed about in the process is the fact that they retconned the story. I get why they did it, because obviously it's gonna lead into a negative later, but the reason why is because they wanted to shoehorn in more familiar characters like Leroy. He wasn't originally a part of the Tekken 3 story, and they didn't really do much with him. I can understand that. Also, some characters that lose really didn't lose at a certain point, like Paul. There's a part where Paul loses to Jin or something later on. I'm not sure if it's Jin or King. I completely forget, but I know he loses, and I'm like, doesn't Paul go on to fight Ogre and then beats him, and then Jin fights True Ogre? So they were trying to push the characterization for Jin to have this destiny and change it around a little bit so he could fight Ogre and deal with not only his previous form, as my phone goes off, but his true Ogre form as well, and make that a true climactic battle. So that part I feel mixed about. I kind of miss the beats of the original story, but I can also appreciate what they did here as well. The things I disliked was the triangular shadows on the characters. I thought that was kind of weird. Like, every time you see a character, there's a triangle shadow on him instead of it being like real time and fleshed out and, you know, looking actually decent. It's something that took me out of the animation style when they did stuff like this, and I think they could have did the shadows better on the back of the characters' heads and their faces, and it got a little annoying after a while. The fights are skipped in the tournament section of this show due to the length of it. Now, this is a show that is only 6 episodes, 25 minutes long, and when you get to the tournament, you will see stuff like Paul versus Kuma. That fight is skipped. Yoshimitsu has a fight that is also skipped. I think due to the length, they had to cut some stuff down, and I think one thing that a season 2 could learn is making this a little bit longer, a little bit more detailed, like seeing more fights transpire within it and giving those brief character moments that people came to see. That's not just focal on Jin, because everyone else has a personality. And the last thing I didn't like is just the rampant use of flashbacks in certain scenes. I think that they really try to home in the point that, of course, Jin's teachings come from his mother, and we get that, but it's almost like in every singular episode dealing with the tournament, we have to get some of that. I thought it was cool they went into some details with Tekken 2. They had some spot on characterization. I would just say that this is a good 6.7 out of 10. The first 2 episodes were really strong. The callbacks to the characters, movesets, costumes. You see Jin in his schoolboy outfit from Tekken 3, so you press that select button and there you go. All of that stuff was really cool, and in seeing that in motion, seeing King do suplexes and the big swing and the drop kicks, clotheslines, that was cool. That was awesome shit here. Really great. I don't think this is an easy jump in for casuals. They do retcon stuff. They really retcon something, and they didn't do anything with Leroy despite him being there. There's triangle shadows on the characters. They skip fights in the tournaments, and there's a whole bundle of flashbacks and exposition that we kind of already know with Jin's teachings. But they come back and cycle back to a point where I thought it was decent, with Jin getting the callbacks to his mom and then finally taking Ogre out and believing in his true inner self, while also doing an uppercut on the entire mountain of Heihachi's face being plastered there and flying into the night. If you know the Tekken 3 story, then this might not do anything new or impressive, but there is some cool fill in the blanks that they do initiate with this show, and it's something to be appreciated. It's something that they could improve with a season 2, but a 6.7 out of 10 is the mandatory score that I will give it here. A nice first attempt, but it could have been better. The main thing that kneecaps this show is, I think, the length. I just think we need to evolve past the 6-episode 25-minute format, because you just want more. You just want more. You need more told, and because they have to rush at the end is not a good construct overall. Stay for the fights, stay for the characterization of Jin's gang, and stay for Heihachi and Jin's relationship, because, you know, everything else just kind of falters a little bit. But I will say this is one of the better Tekken adaptations out there, because, I mean, I heard the second Tekken live action movie was just a Death Stranding walking simulator starring Kazuya Mishima, and that's it. At least they friggin' fight in this anime, as opposed to that. I mean, holy, who greenlit that? If that's true, I want to know their names and their address so I can like throw a wet paper bag on their lawn or something. Like, why? Either way, that is the end of this review for Tekken Bloodline. Be sure to check me out in the comment section below and tell me what you think of Tekken Bloodline, if you watched it, and do you want a season 2? Do you not want a season 2? How you feel about this anime in particular, let me know. All my stuff is in the description below, so Discords, Twitter, Instagram, you know the rhetoric, you know where everything is. Check it out right there and follow me on social media. And you guys take care of yourselves, and remember to enter the Tekken. See you later.